I want you to put it in the chat. Okay? Start by doing that for me. Okay, so I'm set to see everybody. So again, all your posting is what's the thing that you're offering in a way that you would post it like in a message on Facebook, or if you were talking to someone at a networking event or whatever it is, however you would be communicating with people. Okay, so I'm gonna let y'all do that and I'm gonna come back to it. So to start, I want us to start by talking about this marketing messages. So this is definitely all about engagement, okay? So I'm gonna ask you guys to make some comments in the chat. So this first thing is just, I want you to just listen and I want you to answer a couple of questions for me, okay? So let's just say you are a woman or a man, because I see one of my male clients is on, that needs their grass cut, okay? You're a busy person and you don't like to cut grass. And over the last week or two, you've been thinking about asking someone, hiring someone to cut your grass, okay? So here's pitch number one. There is a kid, okay, who knocks on your door, and this is what he says. Okay, let's say it's a little boy. Hi, I live next door. I would love to cut your grass for only $10. So my first question for you is, what would you say to him? Would you buy it or would you not? Now remember, you need someone to cut your grass, right? That's the prerequisite. Everybody on the call is in need of someone to cut their grass. But the question is, if a little boy knocked on your door and said, hi, I live next door, I would love to cut your grass for only $10, would you say yes or would you say no? Type it in the chat for me. Let me get you guys pulled up here. Okay, I see your pitches still coming in. That's good. I'm going to come back to them and actually read through them. So somebody write in the chat for me, yes or no. If a little boy knocked on your door, okay, I got one no. I got another no. Okay. Let's do, okay, so we answered that question. So here's the second pitch. Same little boy, okay? And this time he says, hi, my name is Carl and I'm 14 years old. I would love to cut your grass for you every week for $10. The question is, what would you say? Would you let him cut your grass or no? So I got one yes, one no. If I knew that he'd do a good job, I'd let him. So I got no and I got yes to both. Not sure yet, need more. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be good. All right, so then we have pitch number 3. Okay, same boy. Hi, you've probably seen me outside playing with my little brother. My name is Carl, and I'm the first in my family. I'm the first in my family to get the opportunity to travel abroad. For the next 6 weeks, I will. I went too fast, Jesus. For the next 6 weeks, I will be cutting grass to earn money to pay for the trip. For $60, I'd love to sign you up for a weekly cut. That's the third pitch. So the question is, what's your response? Are you saying yes? Are you saying no? How are you responding to him? So I got yes, I got yes, I got yes. Okay, so I got all yeses so far. Yep, another yes, another yes. Okay, so the question becomes, of the 3, right? Which one are you compelled to buy? The first pitch, the second pitch, and the third pitch. I can tell just by the comments inside the chat, the answer is the third pitch, right? The third pitch is the only one that I didn't get any no's. And so my question for you is, why? Why did you feel compelled to buy on the third pitch? Somebody write that in the chat for me. Just one reason. Oof. He told me his plans for the future. Okay, like it. I wanted to support him. His why. Yes, love it. Because he introduced himself, explained his purpose, and his desired outcome. All right, so he's very clear. So here are some of the big reasons, right? Number one, he solved your problem. You need your grass cut? Here's a solution, okay? The second, for some, he was polite and possibly because he was affordable, right? Maybe $10 feels good to you in terms of price goes. A third reason might be because you actually had the means. Sometimes things are affordable, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have the means. $500 might be a deal for, you know, a 90-inch TV. I don't even know if they make 90-inch TVs. I would imagine they do. That might be a deal, but if I can't afford it, I can't afford it, right? He pulled on your own values, clear and concise, and the biggest one is the idea behind his pitch, which several of you said. His why, multiple people said that was the reason why they said yes. So when we start talking about your messaging, we're talking about how well do you articulate what you do, who you do it for, the result that you can provide, right? And how you actually help people. We all have our own elevator pitches, but the question becomes, how well do you articulate it? How many of these, how many of these things that we see here on the screen do you have in your own pitch, right? We're probably solving our ideal client's problem. Sometimes we're not. Sometimes we're solving our own problem that we think they have, right? But many times we're not hitting all of these. And the biggest one, again, is number 6. The idea behind the pitch. Okay, she said, I'm so glad I'm here. Look at God. Okay, so here's what I want you to start. This is going to be our barometer, so to speak, in terms of testing whether our marketing messages are strong, right? Because the truth is, we're putting out marketing messages all the time, but how well are you articulating what it is that you do, or what it is that you're selling, or whatever it is that you're marketing? Okay, so think about the third pitch. Did it spark emotion in you? Did it sound convincing? Is the impact transformational? Does it grab your attention? And is it new and fresh? Again, when you're writing marketing messages, as we are going to start the process tonight, this is the test that I want you to constantly be judging your own messaging by, right? Because the key to well, there's lots of keys to marketing messages, but every single one of these are going to enhance how well or how strong your messaging is. Our goal is to be able to get clear and concise and convincing in our messaging in a way that people don't just show interest, right? People don't just click on our videos and they're like, oh, that was good. At the end of your content, your blog, your email, your video, whatever it is that you're talking through, you want them to say, yes, how do I sign up now? Not, well, kind of. When I asked about the third pitch, there were exclamation points. There were yes and yes, right? There was very clear yeses, and that's our goal. Our goal is to get to a place where when we are marketing, people are like, absolutely, there is no question, okay? So let's talk about the process and how the heck we do this, okay? So this is the working part. I hope you have a pen and a piece of paper, because I'm going to allow for a minute here and 2 minutes there and 3 minutes there for us to actually do the work while we're on the training. That's how you ask the best questions. That's how you get the best feedback. one of the things that I've had to learn myself is not to just consume information, take a bunch of notes, but I always get more when I consume and implement. Okay, so here are the 7 steps that we're going to walk through. Okay. The first one is, what kind of marketing activity are you using to lead generate? Before we can even get into your messaging, we need to get clear about what is it that you're using, what vehicle are you using to attract your ideal client. So when I say marketing activity, I'm talking about anything from speaking and standing on stage, to doing webinars, to doing challenges, to having some kind of lead magnet like a PDF or a video, to a master class, a telesummit, Facebook Lives. So the first thing that I want you to write down is, what marketing activity are you using to lead generate? And some of you need to be very honest with yourself and say you're not doing any activities, right, that are connected to lead generation. Now, the thing that I want you to understand is that it only counts as a marketing activity if there is engagement and if you're exchanging information. I mean, you're getting people's contact information. So sometimes we get advertising and marketing confused. So advertising is, for example, when you buy space on a billboard and you're publicizing your next event or your next program or whatever it is that you're publicizing, that's advertising. Why? Because there's no exchange of information and there's no engagement. Marketing is when you actually are engaging with your audience and there's an exchange of information. So if you get on Facebook Lives and you rarely have a call to action, or you're not exchanging information and there's very little engagement, then that doesn't count as marketing. Okay? So I hope everybody has that written down. Number 1, what kind of activity are you doing to lead generate? The second thing that I want you to write down is, what's the focus of that particular marketing activity? So for example, I was on a call last night with someone and they're doing a challenge, right? The challenge is designed to show their expertise, right? As the expert, they want to be able to show off what it is that they do and to be able to deliver value to those leads that are interested. And so the question becomes, what's the focus of that challenge going to be? What's the end result of your marketing activity? So this person's focus was around helping people make a decision, right? Their client was someone who's either an entrepreneur and has a 9-to-5 and is frustrated with having both, or someone who has who's in their career but wants to start their business because they are frustrated with their job. So the focus of the challenge for this particular person was helping them make a decision, getting out of this cycle or this loop of just being frustrated with their life. Okay. Hopefully everybody got number 2. If you got 1 and 2, type got it, so I know that I'm not moving too fast or perhaps too slow for people. If you're good, okay, got it. I see people say got it. All right. I promise you we're getting to the messaging, but I need to be able to give you the context before we jump into it. Okay, so step 3. What program are you pitching in conjunction with your marketing activity? Right? So the entire point of having a webinar, a challenge, a telesummit, a PDF, whatever it is that you're using, the entire point of that is to lead them to your program or your product. So when you set up your challenge, for example, then you ought to know, I'm doing this challenge to lead them into this program. Why? Because it has to align. If you don't know what program that you're leading them to before you even start, then you're going to run into an issue with conversions. So the third thing that I want you to write down is, what program are you pitching at the end of your challenge, at the end of your webinar, at the end of your Facebook Live? Okay, everybody got number 3. So here's the part where I want us to spend a little bit of time here. The question becomes, when I say program, who is the program perfect for? Meaning the program that you're going to pitch. Who is the perfect person to be in that program? Who is your ideal client? Right? I don't want your ideal client for your business. Okay? I want your ideal client for this particular program. So again, if I use the example from the call that I was on last night, her perfect or ideal person was someone who has a business, also has a 9-to-5, but is not bringing in enough money in their business, right, to be able to quit, right? They don't like their job. They started by liking their job, but over time it's gotten overwhelming and it keeps them from the business, and they got a bunch of reasons, but they don't like the job, but they can't quit because they're not making enough money in their business. That was her perfect ideal client. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. Let's take 1 minute. I'm going to set my timer here. And you write at least 3 or 4 things who your program is perfect for. Let me get my timer here. I got my timer going. 1 minute. I should have some music. Do, 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 do. Lord, I feel dizzy, Jesus. Okay, we got 10 seconds. Okay, so here's the part that I want to emphasize. When I was talking to her last night about this exact thing, one of the challenges that she had, and I think it's a challenge that many people have, is that we're trying to service 2 different avatars at the same time. And from a messaging standpoint, you cannot do that. Can you have more than one avatar in your business? Absolutely. But when you're talking about messaging, you have to speak directly to your ideal client, directly to the challenges and desires that they have in order for your messaging to convert. So, for example, when we first started talking, she wanted to, in her business, she helps people, career professionals, right, who hate their job and they want to just get a new job, right? That she helps that group of people, but she also helps parallelpreneurs or dualpreneurs or entrepreneurs who have 9-to-5s, right? And managing that work-life balance as well. She helps both groups of people in her brand and in her business. But the challenge is, and this is what the conversation that we had, is that when I saw her video where she's pitching her challenge, I immediately am turned off, even though I happen to be her ideal client, right? I happen to be a person who does not like my job all of a sudden, right? I used to love my job, but within the last couple of months, that has changed, right? So here it is. I am her ideal client, and I would have been turned off by her video simply because the moment she starts talking about if you're a career professional looking to transition in your career and find the job that you love, I'm off. Why? Because my next stage is business, it's not career. But what she's trying to do is attract both people in the same messaging. And when you do that, one person will be turned on and the other person will be turned off. And if you're trying to leverage the online space, you cannot afford to write messaging or speak messaging that turns off part of your audience. Okay? That means that the challenge that you're doing, the webinar that you're doing, the PDF that you're making, it needs to speak directly to one audience. Because here's the thing, she can do another challenge that's specific to career professionals that want to quit their job and get a new job. And then she can do another challenge that is specific to entrepreneurs who have 9-to-5s. But if you try to combine them, I promise you, you will see the impact in your conversions, meaning it will convert less. Okay? So this last thing that says one sentence that describes your ideal client, I want you to be able to put it in one sentence to where it is crystal clear. So for her, she had to make the decision, and this is typically the hard part for us as entrepreneurs. We don't want to leave nobody out. We don't want to let go of anything. We don't really want to niche and narrow, but it is required if you're going to actually create messaging that converts, okay, that attracts. So for her, she let go of the fact that she's not going to talk to the career professional who doesn't want to do entrepreneurship. They just want to love their job, right? She's letting that part go for now, right? Now that it's not permanent, but just for this particular challenge. Did somebody unmute themselves? Somebody got a question? Let me see, who did that? Judy, you got a question?
Sorry,
oh, that's okay. I'm gonna just mute you back. Okay. So after conversation, we came up with one sentence, right, that describes her ideal client perfectly. Okay. So the person that's perfect for her challenge is an entrepreneur who has a 9-to-5, okay, that is frustrated with their job. Their job is demanding, but they're not bringing enough money in their business to quit, period. Clear and concise. So I want you to write the same sentence, drop it in the chat, and it's a work in progress, right? Nobody's expecting you to hit it dead on right this second, but I want you to get in the habit of kind of brainstorming and being concise. The longer it is, the more confusing it is to the person you're talking to. Okay? So one sentence that says the challenge or the whatever is for X, right? Who has what kind of problem or challenge are they having? Because of or in spite of or due to X. So again, her example was, my challenge is specifically for entrepreneurs who have a 9-to-5 that is very demanding and that they don't like, but they cannot quit because they're not bringing in enough money in their business. Okay, so Teresa said project managers that are unemployed or underemployed and are having a hard time finding a job that pays them what they're worth. Okay, I like it. Somebody else, drop your one sentence, and you can play with it, right? Drop your one sentence that is very concise that says, this is who my product, my program, and my marketing activity is for, right? Again, your marketing activity is whatever method you're using to attract them. All right. So here's the thing that is, here's our next step. We want to make sure that there is alignment between your marketing activity and your program. Okay? Why? Because if it's not aligned, then it will not convert. When you get to the end of your webinar or the end of your challenge or the end of whatever, if there's no alignment, you won't see the conversions that you're looking for. Okay? So let me give you an example. No, I'm going to just do it like this. I'm actually going to do a new screen share. And because I'm a visual person, and I think a lot of people appreciate the visual. So when we say step 5, and we're talking about framework, this is the easiest way to ensure alignment, i.e. convert, being able to convert. I see that. I'm gonna come back to it. This is what I mean by alignment. The way you do that is you understand the framework. Can you guys see my screen? Okay, good. Is you understand your framework for your product or program. And for the purposes of this conversation, we're only talking about program. Not your, and I put this in parentheses, not your marketing activity. We're talking about the actual pitch or program that you're going to be selling at the end of your marketing activity. So here's what I mean by framework. I'm going to use the same example that we've been using. So the question becomes, what does her ideal client want? Her ideal client that we identified is an entrepreneur, I spelled it wrong, who has a 9-to-5, is unhappy or has a demanding job, but can't quit because they're not bringing in they're not bringing enough money in their business. Okay, so the question is, the program, what's the program? What's the results? Okay, so the result is helping them develop a strategy. We might call it an exit strategy. We might call it a pre-exit strategy. Call it whatever you want, but the end result of the program that you're selling them into is them walking away with the strategy. Okay, so the framework is the 1 to 7 steps, and I would say 5 or less would be best, but you pick your own number. The 5 steps that they're going to have to take in order to get that strategy. What goes into that? Okay, so the first one is maybe you need to help them make a decision on their time frame. When do they want to leave their job, right? Maybe another one is about evaluation. What's working and not working in their business? That's the second step. Obviously, I'm making these up, but I'm just using these as an example. The third thing that you might help them do is develop a plan for what's not working. So let's say, no, I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, so then another thing that might be involved in the program is you teaching them how to say no. Because one of the challenges that this particular avatar is gonna have is taking on a lot of responsibility at work because they're in leadership, which then takes away from their energy, their time, their motivation to work on their business, right? So maybe that's another thing. The point is, we could go on and on to come up with, here are the 5 things that are going to go into the program. So if we're going to go back to alignment, the way that you ensure that your challenge and your program, or your webinar and your program, or whatever it is that you're using, is aligned, is one of these steps becomes the focus of your marketing activity. Okay, so for her challenge, the focus, the topic, the end result was about making a decision. No more going in cycles as a dualpreneur, trying to figure out, should I just quit my job now? Should I wait 6 months? Should I trust God? Like all these questions that we have in our head for those people who fit this particular demographic. The end result of her challenge is her first step here. I don't know if it's going to let me highlight it, but you see me highlighting it here. So now I know that my challenge focus is aligned with my program, because the focus of my challenge is step 1 of my framework. Does that make sense? Somebody tell me in the chat whether or not that makes sense. Because our step 5 is about alignment. Again, there will be no conversions if your challenge is about, let's just say her challenge was about resume building. Okay, well, that's not going to work because it doesn't fit exactly what her ideal client wants. Again, the focus of your marketing activity, and I want you guys to hear this like really, really clearly, whatever marketing activity that you're doing is to give your ideal client a quick win. When they get done with your 3-day challenge, or they get done reading your ebook, or whatever it is that you're doing, they ought to experience a quick win. So at the end of her challenge, they will know for sure, this is what I want to do. This is where God is leading me. This is the thing that is the next stage for my life. Step 5 leads to the program. Okay. All right, so that makes sense. Does it? So let me go back to my others. If this makes sense, I'm going to go back to my presentation. One of the biggest things that because here's the thing, your marketing activity, if it doesn't give your ideal client a quick win, then they don't necessarily have the confidence that you're the one to solve their problem, right? Like the goal of your marketing activity is to show them that you are the one that has the capacity to solve whatever it is that they're experiencing. Okay, so if you have a very confusing ebook where there's 92 steps, or if the challenge focuses on your resume and your business and making a decision, oh, well, people are not going to walk away feeling confident and ready for the next thing. Okay, and that's the pre-frame that you want people to be in before you pitch your program. Okay, let me see where I'm at here. All right. So everybody I'm going to give 2 minutes for you to write your own 4-step framework to your program, and then make sure that your marketing activity is aligned, right? It fits well into your framework. Okay, so take 2 minutes. I'm setting my timer, and do your framework and ensure your alignment. If you have questions, write them down on a piece of paper or drop them in the chat, because I don't want you to forget them even though we're waiting until the end. If I see them in the chat, I'll answer them. All right, you got 1.5 minutes. Can you put your write-up back? Okay, yes. Let me go back to my screen share here. There you go. So what you're doing right now is making sure that your marketing activity and your program is aligned, which means you're writing your 3 to 5-step framework for your program. Here's what the person would have to do to achieve the result that they want. We got 30 seconds. So step 5 was just assuring alignment, meaning here's the challenge that I want to do, and here's the program that I want to pitch. Do they align? Before we can start, creating strong messaging, it has to align. So I'll give you an example. She was thinking about naming her challenge. Oh, I'm gonna mess it up. What did she tell me? She was thinking about naming her challenge something about transitions for career professionals. Well, that title does not align with her ideal client. Is her ideal client a career professional? Sure, they are. But she's not trying to attract career professionals. She's trying to attract entrepreneurs who happen to have a career, which is a different audience. So the key here is, before you can even do your framework, you have to know who you're. I'm going to go up and see what you guys said about ideal clients while we are taking the last 30 seconds. Okay, so Ina said women who have 9-to-5s but are building a side business, who are having a hard time finding their tribe as an adult, helping them network with intent and finding a community to barter services and support their business. Okay, that's clear. It's a little long, but it is clear. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by finding their tribe as an adult. Maybe your avatar is a millennial, perhaps? Okay, Dr. April. My challenge is specifically for professional working mothers of children who have autism, who are mentally overwhelmed and want to quit their job to care for their autistic child, but cannot because they will be financially stressed. Okay, so after what's the end result? You guys type your end result of your marketing activity, right? As a result of your challenge or your webinar or your masterclass or your teleseminar or your PDF, as a result of them reading this, listening to it, whatever, what do they walk away with? Okay, Ina. So let me just say that that's a lot. Women who have a 9-to-5 but are building a side business, who are having a hard time finding their tribe. Oh, okay. So when you say finding their tribe, I'm thinking their audience. But when you say tribe, you're talking about peers and social groups. So I would tweak your language, because tribe is often used for like their audience or the people who buy their products or service, helping them network with intent and find. Okay. Oh, I like it. Okay, Crystal, confidence in what? You guys drop in the chat, what's the end result of your marketing activity? When they get done with your challenge, what is it how has their life now gotten better? What are they now able to do? What do they have confidence in? Okay, so same thing, Andrene. What are they feeling? They're feeling more confident and happier in what? With what? In what area of their life? Go back to while you guys are typing that in, I'm gonna go back to my screen. Okay, feeling more confident and happier with their self-image. Okay, be more specific. I know that that's fairly specific, Anjane, but with self-image could mean a lot of different things, right? So it could mean my physical weight. It could mean how God sees me. It could be, I mean, literally the list is long. So because here's the thing, when you get done with your challenge, you can't help them with everything, right? The challenge or the webinar or the PDF is a quick win, right? So what are you helping them feel? How are you going to help them do that with your marketing activity? What's the end result? So part of what we have to get good at is being crystal clear about the result that we help people provide. Okay, so Crystal, you're helping people become more confident to pursue their life, the life of their dreams. Okay. So let me give you guys an example. Okay. If I was, let's just say I was using, okay, wait, how God sees them and ultimately how they see themselves. Can you help them do that I don't know what your marketing activity is, Andrene, but helping them see themselves as God sees them is a big task, right? So I would get clear about what's the one thing that I can help them see as it relates to God's love for them, right? Because see how when you say how God sees them, some people are not even going to connect that with self-image at all, right? The first thing that I think of self-image is I think of physical stuff. You see what I'm saying? So this is where there is, and I want to be very clear, there is no marketing messages that will do what you want it to do if you are not crystal clear on the result that you provide. So let me use myself as an example. Okay. I technically am a business coach, right? But business coach is too broad. Like that doesn't tell people what they're going to get when they get done having a conversation with me or being in this program or being a part of this challenge or whatever it is, right? So I got to get real clear, and I'm going to show you guys a way to do that in just a second. But I want you to see the difference between me calling myself a business coach versus me saying I can help you generate 50 leads in the next 30 days. Those are worlds away. It's the same thing. It's both of them are business. But when I communicate the second, it automatically attracts the person who's actually looking to generate more leads in their business. Right? So the thing that you got to get crystal clear, and I think it's harder to do when you're on the personal development side than it is on the business side necessarily, but you got to get crystal clear about the result that you provide, specifically, not in your business as a whole, but specifically with the marketing activity or the product that you're selling. So I'll use the example from last night when I was on the call, right? So the only thing that people are going to walk away with as a result of her challenge is it's basically peace, right? They're going to have peace at the end of her 5-day challenge because they will have made a decision about whether or not they are going to simply quit their job and go full-time in entrepreneurship, or whether or not they will get another job because that job is too demanding, or whether they'll just suffer with the job that they have and go double with their business. The only thing they're going to walk away with at the end of this challenge is peace, right? They're going to make a decision. So the question that you have to answer for yourself is, what's the one thing that they're going to walk away with as a result of your free marketing activity? My program helps gain confidence they need to find a project management job that pays them well. Teresa, is that step one of your framework? Or is that one of your steps? It doesn't necessarily have to be step one. So I'm going to go back to my screen share. So in this framework, it ain't going to let me write in it. That's okay. Your challenge, webinar, PDF, etc., should be one of these steps. Oh no, step one is to identify the employers they will target. Okay. I lost my, okay, here we go. So I hope that this is crystal clear that in order for us to move into the messaging piece, in order for us to start talking about the language that you're going to use, you have to be clear about the end result, right? So I could say that I help people with marketing, which is too vague, right? I could say that I help people leverage the online space to build their brand. That's still marketing, it's still business, right? But it's not clear. Or I could say that I help people build a lead generating system that allows them to bring in leads consistently every month. That's clearer. Or I could say I help coaches and consultants generate 50 leads every single month with 50% conversion rates. You see how specific that is? You see how much more that's going to attract somebody? So part of what we have to learn to do is not be so broad, because the thing that we have to shift to is we're marketing for the product or program that we're selling right now, right? You don't have to include every single avatar. And as a matter of fact, you absolutely do not want to include all of your avatars. You want to focus on what is it that I'm selling right now? Who is this program best for? Okay? Okay, good. So let me move to our step 6 because I want to be mindful of people's time, but I want to be very clear that you cannot market to multiple avatars at the same time. Okay. So our last step, or our second to last step, as it relates to getting in position, because that's all we're talking about. When we talk about messaging, we're talking about how are you going to position your product or service, right? So the same way when we gave the example with the little boy who cutting grass, the only difference is not the product, right? It's not the price, it's how he positioned it. It's how you position it that then makes it attractive to your audience. It makes them give you, honey, yes, right now. Give it to me right now. Not yesterday, but today, like right now. It's positioning. Okay, so in order for us to get to a place where we can position our promotion, our product, our service, our activity, we have to understand all this background stuff first. Okay, so step 6 is knowing the challenges and desires of your particular ideal client. So I'm going to go back to my same example. So far, I know what I'm selling. I know what vehicle that I'm going to use to promote. I know the end result. I know who my ideal client is for. Now I need to get crystal clear on what are the challenges and desires that that ideal client is having based on the result that I provide. So let me go back to my screen share so I can make this visual. Okay. So I got my ideal client, right? I listed that on the other side. Let me just make my screen a little bit bigger. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat because I don't want to get too far ahead of y'all or too far gone where you like, I had a question on step 1 and now we're on step 7. So let's say the challenges of this particular avatar is their job is demanding. And that means the second challenge is they're mentally exhausted. Another challenge might be they are not sure how to build their business, right? They know they're an expert at their craft, but they're not bringing in, I'm gonna just say it different, okay? They are not bringing in consistent money. That's another challenge. Another challenge might be I'm gonna just use those 3 for time's sake. So then I'm gonna list their desires. Well, what is it that they desire? Their big goal is quit their job, right? Because they know that the business is legacy. Okay. Another goal, and this is for the person who hates their job or loves their job. Either way, they still want to quit their jobs, just some people want to do it sooner than others. So another desire might be they want to have a job that is less demanding, that takes less mental energy. So that way they can focus on the business. Another desire that they might have is to have a strategy. They just don't know, how am I going to get to a place where I'm bringing in enough business. Yeah, how to bring in enough business, enough money in their business. That's the other thing that they want, okay? So I could go on, but you get the point here. right? So when you have all 6 of these pieces, meaning I know what I'm pitching, I know what activity that I'm going to use to pitch it, I know who my ideal client is, right? I know the framework, and I already know that it's aligned, and I know their challenges and their desires. These are all the pieces that you need to position your product or service. Okay? So take 1 minute and identify top 3 challenges and top 3 desires of your ideal client for this particular program. Remember that, that's what we're talking about. Who's perfect for the thing you're pitching? Top 3 challenges, top 3 desires. I'm setting my timer for 1 minute. Go back to my screen share. Now I'm gonna leave this up so you guys can see this. Okay, so I see. You can put it in the chat if you want, but definitely make sure that you're writing it on your own paper. Okay, so they're frustrated with job search, not sure how to find. Okay. Observation I was having challenges writing my 1 sentence. You helped me realize that I need to narrow it down and not be so broad. Yes. Instead, I need to hone in on their pain points. Yes. Yes. Love it. The biggest challenge that we all have is being too broad. And marketing messages require specificity. When they say that there are riches in the niches, there is truth to that. And I think the thing that, at least in the conversation that I had last night, the thing that gave her peace is that I'm not just focusing on this avatar completely in my business, but I am focusing on this avatar with this particular challenge and with this particular program. And as a side note, let me just throw this in here. The best coaches, the best consultants, the best whatever it is that you call yourself, okay? Think about, I don't want to say that because that's going to, I don't want to say that. Let me say it a different way. The best coaches and consultants, now I'm going to use myself as an experience, as an example. So when I first started and I was trying to figure out, okay, so I was coming off of a failed nonprofit, right? I had been running a nonprofit for several years and we made money here and there. We had a lot of impact, but we didn't have a lot of revenue. And so when I started this business, the thing that I was certain about is I want to build a business where I actually make money. I don't want to just have impact. I did that on the nonprofit side. I want to be able to do both. Okay. That was the one thing that I knew. And so because I knew that, I'm like, okay, well, I set out on a journey to figure out how to build a profitable business. And so I went to conferences, I bought courses, I hired coaches, I did a bunch of stuff. And one of the things that I learned along the way is that there were coaches that were phenomenal people. And I mean phenomenal people who I literally love, right? But the problem was I could not, and the information that they were giving me was valuable. Okay, it was valuable. They had $1 million business, so they know something, and our values align. So I like the person's character in addition to them just having wisdom about business. But the challenge was I couldn't implement many of the things that they taught because I wasn't at that level, right? But the problem is that their brand is about helping businesses as a whole. So I'm like, oh, well, she can help my business. When the truth is, she's best suited for people who are already making money, and then she shows them how to scale. So when your brand is too vague or it encompasses too many different kinds of people, you do your clients a disservice, because the truth is you can't help all of those people in the same way. Now, if you got a team and an agency and all, okay, then maybe. But the truth is, if she had positioned herself as, hey, Precious, if she had positioned herself as a business coach that helps people who have already hit the 6-figure mark and they want to go to the 7-figure mark, she would have been killing it. And she would have did both her clients and me a service, because I wouldn't have invested my money into something I didn't need. Now, let me be very clear. The value was there. Okay, there was no question that her information was valuable. But my point in sharing this story is that when we don't niche, when we don't narrow our focus, half of the people who come to us don't get results. Because you got one person who is fresh and they're new. I'm going to use myself, right? So I got some people who are committed to building a business, but they're in the early stages. Then I got another person who's been in business for 2 years and they got a different problem. Then I got another person who's had many businesses, but they're pivoting and they're wanting to do something completely different. If I try to service all 3 of them in the same program, one person or more will inevitably lose, meaning they will not get the results that they wanted as in your program, because you said it was for all 3 groups. Okay? They won't be happy. Think about the times where you signed up for something, and because the coach or the course or the program or whatever encompasses so many things, you didn't walk away getting a real result, meaning your income went up in your business or whatever the result that you signed up for. This is where we as coaches and consultants have to do better. We have to get okay with narrowing and niching, because that's the best way to provide transformational results to the clients that we serve. Okay, I'm going to get off of that because I could spend another 20 minutes on that soapbox. Let me go back to my screen share here. All right, so now we've gotten everything that we possibly could need to position your program, right? To actually create the messaging that aligns with your challenge or your webinar or your whatever, okay? I'm going to go up to your pitches that you all wrote when you first jumped on, and I'm going to, so what I want you all to do is, as I read the pitch out loud, write yes or no, whether this is a compelling yes. Remember, when we were at the beginning, we're talking about, we don't want interest, right? We want someone who to read our elevator pitch or hear our elevator pitch, or, you know, whatever, our video sales letter where we're promoting our challenge. We want somebody to hear it and say, oh my God, I've been waiting for this. This is exactly what I needed. So the question that I'm asking you to say yes or no in the chat is, if, as I read this, is it an astounding yes? Okay. So the first one is, my new venture is called Energy Exchange. It's a supportive space for women to connect professionally, created to promote intentional networking and encourage sisterhood. So my question for you, drop it in the chat. Is it a astounding yes? Is it a kinda? Is it a, tell me what your response is to that. So I got no, no. Okay. Got no. Okay, so we're going to come back and show you how to tweak it. So let's do the second one. The second one is, I assist women/wives with writing and publishing their book by leveraging their knowledge and building a business with it. CEO Wife Writers Academy is to get you from feeling stuck to being a published author. So is it a astounding yes, or is it a maybe, or is it an absolutely no? I got a maybe. I got a maybe. I got another maybe. Okay. I got another maybe. All right. So we're going to, this is great. Let's go to the next one. Okay. So I'm building my community, the International Society of Black Project Managers. We meet monthly on the first Friday of every month for intimate networking. We also provide monthly training on challenges that Black project managers have in their careers. All right, same question. Astounding yes, a maybe, or no? I got a maybe. I got a maybe. I got another maybe. Okay. All right. I'm going to do another one. Let me see if I can find another one. Okay, so my challenge is specifically for professional working mothers of children with autism who are mentally overwhelmed and want to quit their job to care for their autistic child, but cannot because they would be financially stressed. Astounding yes, maybe, or no. I got a yes. I got a yes. Anybody else gonna respond? Is that an astounding yes? Is it a maybe? Is it a no? I got another yes. Okay, I got another yes. I'm gonna do one more, and then we're gonna talk about, well, what's the difference? Like, how do I improve my ability to pitch my webinar, my challenge, my whatever, right? Crystal, I was gonna read yours, but I don't see it. Okay. Oh, Crystal's is helping. Okay. Helping them create new habits that's built around gaining more confidence in themselves and their decision making. Okay, so is that an astounding yes, and maybe, or no? Again, helping them create new habits that's built around gaining more confidence in themselves and their decision making. Oh, okay, she said maybe. Who is it for? Precious, the question was, people were pitching their product or their service. The next thing that you're selling, whatever the next thing is that you're working on right now, people were pitching their service. Oh, okay, Crystal said that was the end result. Okay, so Crystal, drop your pitch for your program. So the thing that I want you guys to be able to see, I'm gonna pull our screen back up here. See if I can find, when we were talking about the little boy, right? This is what we're judging our messaging by. How well are you articulating what you do, who it's for, the result that you provide, and how you help people? Okay? Figure out which one of these are you not strong in. And not strong in permanently, but just which one of these are you not strong in based on the pitch you just gave. Here's the area where I need to strengthen. So the thing that I would say that most of the pitches that I heard was about the results. You got to get clear about the results that you provide, because that's the number one thing that attracts people and helps them convert. Why? Because they have a problem that they're looking to solve. So again, let's just say, I know several of you, I think Andrene and Crystal and maybe one other person said confidence. So you want to attach something to confidence. I'm helping them gain the confidence they need to go after the job that they want, the career path that they want, right? That's more specific than confidence by itself. Or I'm helping them gain the confidence to stand up to their boss or their children or their family or their whatever, because that's the thing that's holding them back from pursuing their next level, right? Maybe it's the approval of others, for example. So the confidence is then tied to naysayers, unsupportive people, right? Tie it to something. So that way the results are 1000% crystal clear. Okay, so her program is for women of faith. regain their confidence to go after the lives they want. So I'm going to read this one, and you guys say, is this a astounding yes, a maybe, or a no? Okay. So it says, my coaching program is for women of faith, helping them regain their confidence to go after the lives they want over 40. Is that an astounding yes? Okay, so I got a maybe. I got a maybe, another maybe. Okay, so drop in the chat with your specific pitch. What's the one area that you know you need to tighten up? If I got clear on this, if I conveyed this part of my pitch clear, then I would move to an astounding yes. So Crystal, I can tell you the place that your messaging has to get stronger is in the end result. You're giving them the confidence to go after the lives they want. Be more specific. What is it that they want? That would make your statement super convincing. And remember, this is the second piece, right? We're judging our messaging based off of this. Does it spark emotion? Remember, the third pitch of the little boy, I'm going to go back to it. The third pitch of the little boy said, hi, you've probably seen me playing outside with my little brother. My name is Carl, and I'm the first to get the opportunity to travel abroad in my family. For the next 6 weeks, I'll be cutting grass to earn money to pay for the trip. For $60, I'd love to sign you up for a weekly cut. And what we said in terms of why this was an astounding, all the other ones were not astounding no, yeses. There were maybes, there were some yeses. Why? Because it sparked emotion. So this is what I want you to judge yours off of. We're going to take 2 minutes and you rewrite your pitch, right? And remember, I want you to pitch your marketing activity. Okay? Or you can pitch your program. Either one is fine. And when you're doing it, make sure that it sparks emotion. It sounds convincing. The result that they receive is transformational. It grabs their attention and it's new and fresh, right? Those are the standards in which you're judging yourself or judging your messaging by. I'm gonna start my stopwatch here. Okay, I hope project managers gain the confidence they need to go after the job they really want and not the job they think they can get. Okay. Teresa, I think that's stronger. Okay, so I'm trying to provide a community for women who don't have support for their family, who also don't know where to find business. We're so fun to move. I'm calling business matchmaking, but I think it's going to take me more than a few minutes. Yeah, I agree. It takes time. Writing copy, or which all of this is not copy, but figuring out your messaging does take more time than what we're allowing, right? So, Ina, the thing that I would encourage you to focus on is what's the end result. When you provide this solution to them and they have this community of people that are resources and supportive and encouraging, and what's the end result? That will help you identify your one sentence. Okay, so Andre, I help progressive women feel beautiful and confident so they can create abundance in their health, wealth, and their relationships. Yeah, no. The answer is no, Andre. Okay. So first of all, health, wealth, and relationships, those are 3 completely different life categories. So let me show you guys this. I'm going to just stop the screen share and do another one. And Will it let me? Okay. So here's one way. Teresa, is it strong enough? Teresa, I think it's stronger. Whether it's strong enough, I don't think so. So here's the biggest way to develop a messaging that's dead on is through market research. So when you talk, Teresa, I'm gonna use you as an example. If you talk to previous clients or other project managers and you say, what's the one thing that you want the most? Now the key is you have to be talking to your ideal client. Don't talk to a project manager that already has a job and they happy, blah, blah, blah. No, your ideal client is the one that is unemployed and something else you said. So our responsibility is to find our ideal client and ask them. So if she says, man, the thing that I want the most right now is how to make my resume pop so that way I then feel confident in applying for jobs. Right now, my resume is boring. Guess what that becomes? The language that you use inside of your challenge, your webinar, your whatever. Okay? So I would encourage you talk to your ideal client to find the exact language. But the key is, what results are you going to provide for your ideal client? Okay. Judy, the Reinvention Coaching Series helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs gain clarity, confidence, and the direction they need to move forward and achieve their personal and business goals. Okay, so Judy, is too broad. It's too much, right? So it's a lot in that sentence. And I would say, okay, Reinvention Coaching Series helps purpose-driven entrepreneurs. So number one, that's most of the people on the planet. From an entrepreneur standpoint, that's still very broad because almost all of us are purpose-driven. So what kind of entrepreneurs do you want to help? And then when you're helping them, what's the end result, right? The end result is they now have a clear understanding of how to build a six-figure business or how to stand out in a crowded marketplace or how to build a business plan that allows them to get a loan. You see how more specific that is? The end result is what attracts people to you. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Precious. Helping bold Christian coaches move the frustration of building their business alone by providing accountability, support, and training that encompasses business strategy that is results oriented. I think that if we put this to a emphatically yes, maybe, or no, you're going to get a lot of maybes, right? Because there needs to be, I'm just rereading it again. Remove the frustration. Okay. Let me show you guys this because I think it would be helpful to you. Okay. This is one way that you can get crystal clear. I'm going to come back to some of these because I see a lot of it's coming through here. But this is one way that you can get clear in terms of what your focus is going to be for your marketing activity or your program as a whole. Okay. So let's start with this. So the first thing you want to do is start with your category, right? So life has, let's say, 8 different categories. There's health, there's wellness, there's career or business, there's social life and friends and family, or a family might be a different category. There's spirituality, et cetera, et cetera. So you pick the first category. So for me, I'm going to say business. Why? Because that's what I do, right? Excuse the messiness. So then I'm going to say, okay, well, there are lots of different categories of business. So I'm going to start listing some of them. And I'm going to wrap up in the next, I want to be mindful of y'all's time. So we're probably not even going to get to copy because that's a whole. Okay, so said business, I could talk about branding, and I'm not going to write this all out. I could talk about branding. I could talk about sales. I could talk about marketing. I could talk about your target market. I could talk about tech. I could talk about your purpose. I could talk about product creation. Again, I could just keep going, right? What we're doing here is getting clear on what result that we provide. What is it that we help our clients do specifically? So this is just some of them. We could spend more time and I could come up with 5 different other areas of business. So once you list them, then you start eliminating the ones that you know are a no, and circling the ones that are you're open to. So I'm going to just circle marketing because that's my focus, right? So maybe let's just say I was going between these two, target market and marketing. So then I would build out the options specifically related to marketing. Okay, so if I'm talking about marketing, what could I be talking about? I could be talking about organic marketing. I could be talking about paid advertising or paid marketing. I could be talking about JV marketing. I could be talking about referral. I could be talking about online. I could be talking about offline. I'm spelling that wrong. I could be talking about SEO. I could be talking about social media. And I could break that down and say Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, not social media, but another option. The point is I could keep going here, right? If I spent the time, I could come up with 20 different things that are all related to marketing. And the truth is, I can't help you with all 20 of those. And the truth is, you can't help your person with all 20 of those things, right? So let's just say your category up here was health, okay? And you did the same thing. And you put all these categories, okay? So we could talk about losing weight, we could talk about gaining weight, we could talk about mental health, we could talk about physical health, we could talk about body image, we could talk about medical condition like medications. Again, the list goes on and on. And the beauty of this, if you actually go through this like mind mapping exercise, yes, okay, good. I'm glad it's helping somebody. All right, I want to be mindful of you all's time, so I don't want to keep you any much longer. Okay, good. So here's the point. So now I've come up with 20 things. Let's say I kept going. Now I can, yeah, we need part 2. Okay, so now I can start doing the same thing. All right, what's the things that I know I can't talk about? Okay, I can't help you with SEO. Okay, I can't help you with offline. I can't help you with et cetera, et cetera. And I get to choose the top 3. Yeah, you can stay on. I just want to be mindful because we're already at whatever time we're at, because I don't even know what time it is. So now I'm going to pick 3. Let's say I can help you with organic, I can help you with online, and I can help you with social media. I'm going to pause in 1 minute and open it up for questions. And then people who want to stay on can stay on, and people who don't, either way. So now I'm going to do this in a different color. I've gotten clear, and I'm going to do it a little bit. Okay. I can talk to you about organic. I can talk to you about online, and I can talk to you about social media. And the truth is, I can only talk to you about Facebook. Okay. I actually cannot talk to you about LinkedIn or none of that. So now guess what happens? When I introduce my program, my challenge, my marketing activity, I get to say, this challenge is going to show you how to get your next 5 clients organically. You see how much more specific that is versus saying we're going to help you build out a marketing strategy. Or I'm going to say I can show you how to leverage Facebook to build 100 new leads a month, whatever. The point is, if you mind map and you break it down like this, you will have a much clearer understanding of the results that you provide. You will have a much clearer understanding of the messaging that will convert and attract. So, because the truth is, I started off by saying, I'm going to highlight this, marketing. That's what I can help you with. Well, that's too broad. Marketing is too broad. There's a million. Again, I spent 2 minutes and I came up with 10 different ways to market. Okay, so I'm not feeling really great. So listen, this is what I would like to do. If you have a question or a comment or anything that let's start with questions first. And then we'll move to comments. Remember, my purpose in doing this training was to help people with your messaging, and we didn't even get to copy. That'll have to be a whole nother training. If you all are interested in that, then we can do that at another time. But focus for now, give me some feedback in terms of, does this help with the messaging aspect? Hit *6 if you want to make a comment or a question.
Hello.
Hey, Precious.
Hey, hold on. These kids in this TV. I hopped on the end, but what I did see just helped me.
Okay.
This breakdown is what I needed. Being able to say, okay, this specifically is what I'm going to help you with in business, and these are the things we're going to talk about.
Love it.
That was it right there.
Okay, good. Good.
Hey, Michelle.
Hey, Teresa.
So my thing was this last piece. So all of it was wonderful. I just got to tell you that, because it helps you to just think clearer and hone down. But this last piece was the most helpful, because people keep saying niche down, niche down, niche down, but nobody really tells you how to, right? And so this thing right here that you did with the niching down, this was the money piece right here. This was the goal.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole nother piece to this that I ain't even touched yet, because I'm just trying to be mindful of people's time. And I just don't feel great. I don't know what's going on with me right now, but I just want to be mindful. Okay, so who else? Anybody else got a comment, question?
I just want to say this was really, really helpful. Just what Teresa said and Precious. This piece right here is really, and then also recognizing that sometimes we do have various avatars, people who have just, I think, been saying a one avatar, but it's really not one. It depends on what we're providing. It could be multiple, but we can only do it one at a time. So this right here just really helped me to learn how to communicate with them now.
Okay, good. So the thing that I want to emphasize probably more than anything else with this training is that you cannot talk to two avatars at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. So for example, if you have, So if you have, I wish I had time, but Crystal, you'll remember, at least because we talked about this a while back. There are levels to your avatar, right? So let's just say my avatar is coaches and consultants who want to leverage the online space to build their brand. Let's just say that that's the broad target market. That's not an ideal client. That's target market, right? And so as I say, okay, well, there are levels to coaches and consultants who want to use the online space. So the first person could be the newbie, right? They just kicked their business off this year and they're trying to do whatever they're trying to do. The second level is somebody who's been in business for a few years and they're trying to get to their first 10K month. The third person could be somebody who's been in business for 5-10 years and they've already had 10K months and they got a different problem. Maybe they need to do something different with their team, or they're trying to meet a different revenue goal, et cetera, et cetera. The levels could keep going. But the point is, you cannot talk to each one of those avatars the same way. The moment you start talking about, let's say your ideal client is that middle person, right? The coach or consultant who wants to make 10K in their business. That's the next goal for them, right? The moment you start talking about, if you're just getting started and, you really need to get clear in your business plan, you automatically lose that person. And vice versa. Let's just say your ideal client was the first person who's just getting started, right? And you're talking about, you know what, you can make 10K in your business and it's completely possible. Somebody's going to be attracted to that, but the other person is going to be not attracted to that because they don't even understand what their expertise is yet. They don't understand what their purpose is. You see what I'm saying? Like, in order for you to attract the person that you desire to attract, you have to speak directly to them. You cannot talk to 3 different groups at the same time. But what you can do, right, because I know that can be challenging, what you can do is develop different marketing messages specifically for each group. It doesn't mean you can't service each group, right? But it does mean that each message, so let's just say I was doing paid advertising on Facebook and I'm trying to attract let's just say my program is going to help both my level 1 and my level 2, the person who's been in business for 7 months and the person who's been in business 17 months. Like both of those are my avatar. That means I'm going to design marketing messages specifically for one group and then a whole different set of marketing messages for the second group. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't try to combine them in the same marketing messages, right? So when I was on last night talking to someone about, their upcoming challenge, the biggest thing that happens is she was trying to talk to the career professional, right, as well as the entrepreneur. And there is a disconnect. Those are 2 different worlds. They might have the same problem. They both might be frustrated with their job, but the end result is different. One person wants the end result to be a new job. The other person wants the end result to be no job. They want to just do full-time entrepreneurship, right? So you have to do it based on the results. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Anybody else?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I just wanted to say, I was typing it and I just thought I'd say it to you. This is a very good training. Love the mapping. I think copy just needs to be a whole nother training.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, I think there needs to be more time in writing out the messaging. But now since you have introduced this mapping, I would even revamp it and start off with the mapping. So the person can niche it all the way down, and from the niche to get to the messaging, then to the copy. I think you have an awesome product here, and you just gave birth to it tonight. But this mapping, like everybody said, is the game changer because it brings us from that high level down to the nitty gritty where we need to get to. And then that's what we need to start writing our messaging from. And then from there, we can start writing our copy. But kudos, because you did an excellent job.
Okay, good. I think that's good feedback. Is to start with this place versus doing all the other stuff that I talked about at the beginning of the training. That's helpful. So here's my question for you all. Is when you hear the word messaging, right? Because it's hard to convey what it is that I'm doing right now, right? Like, I'm trying to help people get clear about their messaging, but what would you consider this training to be about, right? What made you jump on when I made the post? What was it about the language that said, you know what, I might be able to use that, or, whatever came up? Because I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to convey what I'm doing right now in this training? Anybody, doesn't really matter who it is. Or you can just put it in the chat. You don't even have to unmute yourself if you don't want to.
I would say, this is Judy again. I would say, I think we understand the verbiage messaging, but I'm learning to keep it real simple for the masses. So maybe something like, I don't know, I'm just pulling off the top of my head, but something to in your copy or whatever, that way to reach your marketing, way to reach your market, or something like that, you know, need the words, the content, the copy, or whatever it is that's kind of, and I can't think right now, I'm sorry, but something that's going to kind of speak to that, because everybody understands reaching their market, reaching their target audience, or reaching their people. People are more savvy, so they might understand messaging, but sometimes I'm just learning to really keep it real simple. And something that may be geared towards how to reach your market, how to reach your tribe, or what have you. And here's the 7 ways to reach your tribe. And to your point, generate X amount of revenue, generate X amount of followers, or what have you. But that verbiage will guide them to the end result, which will make them understand what it is you're offering. I hope that made sense.
Yep, it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, so what do you guys feel like you now need? Right, because we really just scratched the surface. I ain't even got to the other stuff. So what would be the next step for you based off? So here's the one thing that I would say. Before you go to bed tonight, I want you to write your one sentence that starts the brainstorming process of what it is that you do, not as a brand, but just with the product or program that you're currently working on, right? So with this program, I help coaches and consultants get clear on their messaging, so that way they can attract their ideal client, for example, right? I want you to be able to take whatever mind map that you do and put it into a couple of different sentences, right? So now you can play with it.
Lachelle.
Yes.
You know what, like, for this training that you did, honestly, I just feel like you are teaching me how to talk to my avatar, like really how to segment my audience and talk and speak directly to my avatar like that, right? Mm-hmm. Because one of the things that I have been trying to, you know, they say, well, just talk to your audience. I'm like, well, what the heck do I say to these people, right? But in this training, you have helped me narrow it down to a conversation with one segment of my audience, these unemployed and underemployed project managers. And then when you did this mind mapping thing, there are so many programs that I could provide to them. There's so many things that I'm thinking of that they need, just because I narrowed it down to these unemployed and underemployed project managers. And now I know how to talk to them because I know what their pains are.
Here's the other thing that I would say. Yes, I absolutely. Okay, so I love all of that. When you do this mind mapping exercise, this is the perfect way for you to do a lot of things. One is just get clear on the result that you provide. Two is to get clear on the content that you will deliver. So for example, let me use a different color here. Let's use yellow. So now when you've built this out, right? Because I wish I could show you. I might take a picture of mine and put it in a chat or something so y'all can see what mine actually looks like, because it's more involved in this. But one of the things that you do when you're creating messaging, the key is to grab people. Above all else is that it has to grab attention and resonate with your audience. So the elevator pitch with the little boy, the thing that was the biggest part is this idea behind, right? It helped that he was clear. It helped that he was polite. It helped that he was, whatever. But the thing that was compelling is the big idea behind his pitch. It's the fact that he's the first one in his family to get to travel abroad, right? That's the compelling piece. It's the big idea. So the thing that you got to work on with your product pitch or your program pitch is what's the big idea, which is a whole nother training within itself. But just remember how compelled you were. When I did pitch 1, pitch 2, pitch 3, the first one was no, 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 no. The second one was yeah, no, yeah, no. The third one was the only one that every single person said yes to. Why? Because there was a big idea behind it. Now, I will be very, I want to be very clear that coming up with your own big idea is a daunting task in some ways. It's not something, it's not going to come through inspiration. It comes from digging. The same thing that we're doing here with this mind map, it comes from actually knowing your audience and digging. It does not come, the best copy is not the first thing that comes to your mind. The best messaging is not the first thing that comes to your mind, right? The best messaging and the best copy is the kind that you dig, right? You get crystal clear on what it is that your audience wants, what pulls on their heartstrings, right? Like I knew that number 3, that pitch number 3 was going to be an emphatic yes, because I know you all. I know my audience, right? And I know the thing that pulls on your strings is giving back, right? Like anytime you get an opportunity to help somebody else get to their next level, it's a yes. And let's just add the kid and he polite and the price and all those other things are bonuses. But the number one thing that I knew about my clients or my ideal client is your value system. You see what I'm saying? So how do you include your ideal client's value system inside of your pitch for your program? How do you include the big idea, the thing that's going to create the emotion? Because here's the thing, marketing is designed to elicit emotion. Listen, my head is hurting. I'm not going to do this with y'all all night. Okay. So here's the thing that would be helpful to me. Number 1, if you all want to do this again, I'd be happy to do it again. Tell me what it is that you need specifically, so that way I don't, again, this is just step 1 of the mind mapping exercise. So if you would drop in the chat what you feel like you need next or what would be helpful, and if you even want to do it again, I'm not going to be offended if you say no. I promise. I will take no offense to that. And the other thing is on my Facebook business page, right? So my business page is called The Reset Room. If you guys would just leave a review, and the review, something around messaging, because that's the thing that I want to brand myself around with my next product and service, is the niching, the messaging. Like you put it in whatever terms that work for you, but I want to be able to start the process of getting some social proof around the next thing that I'm going to sell, right? So the next thing that I'm selling has to do with niching and messaging. Does that make sense? Hopefully I'm saying it right. Definitely want to do it again. I need to know how to write copy. Okay. Or even recognize good copy when someone writes. Okay. I specifically need to get my life together. Okay. Ina, get your life. That's broad. I can't help you get your life together. Definitely the mind mapping because my computer froze and the winning. Okay. So I'm going to just take a picture of the one that I have. So that way you don't have to try to get exactly to this space in the video. And you guys can utilize that however you want to. Any other questions, feedback, comments before? Okay, yes, do it again. Got it. So this was helpful in terms of your messaging, helping you get clear about what is it that you provide and, okay, mind mapping and copy. Okay. Okay. Praise the Lord. Bless the cook. So here's what I want to do, because this is the kind of person that I am. Do not judge me. In order for me to do this again, I'm going to create a group, I don't know if it'll be a messenger group or a regular Facebook group that has all of you in it. And you can turn off the notifications, mute it, whatever. But I want you to drop your own mind map in there, because that's going to be step 1 to doing the next thing, right? In order for us to get to the next niche or the next piece of messaging, you would have to have your mind map done, or at least started, okay? So if you take a picture of your own map, and remember, the only thing you're doing is you're starting with whatever category up here, right? So this is the first category. You pick one of the 8 categories of life, and then you break that category down, right? That's the orange piece. This is not helpful to color it in. I don't know why I did that. But the second piece is you coming up with all the different types of health, all the different things around spirituality, all the different, whatever category is at the top for you, right? That might be 20 different things. And then your third step is to narrow that down. Here are the 3, no more than 3, that I would like to focus on. right? So if I'm doing health, I'd like to focus on supplements. I'd like to focus on healthy eating, and I'd like to focus on toning. I don't know. I'm making it up. But the point is, you come up with 3 or less, okay? And then, based off of those 3, you narrow it down to 1. I know that's the hard part, but you narrow it down to 1. And then after you've narrowed it down to 1, because this is the one I narrowed it down to, marketing. That's my focus. Now, you can come up with 20 different things related to that one topic. If I kept going, I could do lead generation. I could do webinars. I could do chat. I could go on and on. And so now for every single thing that I put here, I got a new topic that I can create content around. I could do a whole week worth of organic posting around organic marketing. I could do a whole week around online marketing, Facebook marketing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? When you do this, it allows you to create content too. We're not even going to talk about content calendars because that's, again, another thing. But I at least want you to understand how to do the mapping. Everybody good on the mapping part? Okay, good, good. Okay, so if you guys are okay with me putting you in a group, I'm gonna put you in a group so I can see your mind maps. And then I'll build out like a shorter training so we're not here for 2 freaking hours. I don't know how y'all work. I'm good with 2 hours, but I want to be mindful of other people's time. So the next time I'm gonna focus on one thing, right? And say, okay, here's the next phase or the next step. Thank you, Judy. The next step after you've done this mind mapping. The goal here is after you've done this mind mapping for you to come up with your sentence. Here's what, okay, good. 2 hours is okay. I'm gonna tell you my sentence. Let me see if I can find my book. No, I don't want to do it because that's confusing. The point here is I know that whenever I post on social media, whenever I blog, whenever I do an interview for a podcast, guess what? It's always going to be surrounding marketing. I will not deviate from marketing. Now, I might talk about 20 different kinds of marketing, but it will always be marketing. How do you choose one of the 3? Okay, so here's how I would say this. I'm gonna have to do a new, hopefully you guys, I'm gonna just erase this and do a new one because that's a good question. Let me see how it's gonna let me erase. Clear all the drawings. No, I just need the eraser. Okay, so I'm gonna erase this and I'm gonna answer your question around how do I just choose erase already. Okay, so if I circled, let's just say I circled purpose. Take the eraser back off now. Shoot. Okay. Let me put my pen on. Okay. So to answer Precious' question, how do you choose one of the 3? Is it just from this program? Is it just from this program I'm launching? Okay, so 2 questions. Number 1 is around your brand as a whole, right? So this is about my brand as a whole. My entire business will be about marketing. And part of how I decided that was a lot of things. Number 1, my clients that I served, they get stuck in the same exact spot. And guess what that does? They leave not getting an ROI on the investment that they made. And that's first of all, that's not accurate. They get an ROI because they learn a lot. But my goal is to give the clients that I serve the outcome that they want. And the outcome they want is monetary. Why? Because I'm serving entrepreneurs. So I could give them, and not all entrepreneurs want a monetary ROI, but most of us do. Some of us get into programs just to learn how to build a business plan, or they learn how to, whatever it is that you learn to do. But at the end of the day, they want that marketing, that product creation, that branding, that whatever to convert. So part of it is your own experience with your clients and the people you serve. Some of it is also, where do you have expertise, right? Because here's the biggest hiccup that I had when I started is my gift is strategy. As you can see, the thing that I can do better than most people is strategy. And if I understand the topic, which the topic is business, I can help you strategize. But the problem is people were walking away with a bunch of information with no result. So now I got to decide which category am I going to strategize about. So part of it, Precious, is what's your gift, right? So I have a gift assessment that I let people take for free so they can identify their gift, right? Because knowing your gift helps you eliminate or add in terms of, it helps you get clear on the ones you can eliminate and the ones you keep, right? So the other thing is, so I feel like I'm all over the place. So 1, what's your gift? 2, which topics do you have expertise in? Okay. 3 is which one aligns with what your ideal client needs to succeed, right? Because the truth is they need all of this, but your specific avatar needs one more than the other. Oh, I'm gonna drop the link here. Girl, what is the link? The spiritual assessment, I think. Okay, I think that's the link. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So to answer your questions, here are the 3 things that I would consider. Number 1, what's your gift? Number 2, where do you have expertise? And number 3, which one of these things is going to give your ideal client the most benefit, right? So for one person, it might be tech, right? My clients get stuck with building out landing pages. So I'm going to build my business around that if my expertise is there, right? So the 3 things that I list is, what was your expertise, right? What can I actually teach on? 2, the first one, what is my gift? And the last one is about my ideal client and their needs. Okay, that's how I would decide. That's how I would start. So let's just say, yeah, that I think that answers your question. If it doesn't, Precious, let me know. Okay, Crystal, when you do the mind mapping, we should be able to write a compelling sentence to our audience. So yes, let me do my text. So let me just say that I'm way better when I'm doing strategy sessions because it just flows like this. What I'm trying to do is figure out how to do it as a teaching, as a training, right? Because it's different as a training than for you to just give me your brand and for me to do it like that. Okay. So yes, the goal of the mind mapping is a couple things. Number 1 is for you to get clear on your overall brand, right? Which is what we didn't talk about tonight, right? We didn't talk about the overall brand. But as a result of doing this, I now know that my business is focused on marketing. Will it include a little bit of sales and a little bit of purpose and a little? Sure, it will. But I now officially know what my overall brand is for. Number 2, the other goal after doing this is content. I now know, based off of going all the way through, easy 50 different topics. Okay? And that's on the low end, because once you make this list, right? So I made a list down here with organic and offline and online. So that means every single one of those I could talk about by itself. This week is all online. Next week is all offline. Next week, blah, 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 if I wanted to. And I can do them in relation to each other. And here's the key. This is the thing that I really want you guys to let it settle in your spirit, because your messaging has to be provocative. It has to either provoke curiosity, it has to be disruptive, And one of the ways you do that is by pinning one thing against each other. So for example, so let's just say, this was one of the things that I listed under marketing. Another one was offline, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things that I do in my headline, which this is the copy piece that we didn't talk about, is I pin social media marketing against offline marketing, right? And I can do that with every single one of the things that I listed under here, right? I could pin webinars against offline marketing, or webinars against social media marketing, or lead generating, et cetera, et cetera. Again, all that's copy, but that's the second piece. Oh, it's not going to let me continue with my goals. Dang it now, Jesus. Why are you going to do me like that? Okay. I just want you to be clear what the purpose of this is. Okay, so the third goal of doing this is the sentence. You being able to clearly articulate what you do with not just with your brand, but with your products, which each product that you offer, excuse me, or service that you offer, now I can clearly articulate that I can help you with social media marketing, or I can help you with online marketing, or I can help you with whatever. I can do that. I now know how to do that as a result of this activity. I know how to clearly articulate that. And then the other goal of doing this is to, how am I going to say this? Identify your niche and learn to stick to it. So one of the activities that we'll do if we do this again is when you pick your niche, your one sentence that identifies what it is that you do, then you come up with the 3 words that will be in every piece of content. One of the 3, not all 3, right? But if I know that my niche, my broad topic is marketing, so that means everything that I'm going to talk about is marketing. Because one of the things that I heard somebody say to me, I don't even know what you do. I mean, I know you help people with business because all your posts are about business, but I don't know specifically what you could help me with. Oh, okay, well, that's a problem. There's no way that I should be posting every single day on social media and somebody not know what I do, not know which category of their life or which category of their business that I can help them with. That's a problem. Nobody should say that about you, your business, your brand, or your products or your services. So now I know that everything that I talk about is going to be marketing, but then I also pick some of the items that I had under here, and I'm going to say, okay, the 3 things that I'm going to talk about is online marketing, organic marketing, and social media marketing. That's it. Them is the 3. If you need help with offline marketing, I'm not your girl. If you need help with SEO, I'm not your girl. Marketing is designed to pull in the people that you want and repel the people that you don't. A lot of times we're afraid of repelling the people that you don't, but that's how we end up with clients that we don't even like. That's how we end up having people invest in our products and services and they don't get the result that they wanted, because what they really wanted help with was SEO. And because I told them I could help them with online marketing, in their mind, it meant SEO. In my mind, I never planned on helping them with SEO. But they brought the coaching program thinking that somewhere in here I was going to help them with SEO. Why? Because I branded myself as an online marketer or a digital marketer. Well, guess what? Online marketers and digital marketers could very well include SEO. But SEO is not something that I can help you with. Okay, let's see if I got another question. On the mind mapping, can you spell out the header categories? My computer froze and then I'll leave you alone. I know we're trying to go. Okay. The header categories. So are you talking about business? Are you talking about, when you say header categories, are you talking about the thing I got in yellow right now? Because I'm not sure if that's what you mean by header category. Oh, right under that. Okay, so the categories are everything that could fall underneath that. So I'm going to erase something and do a different category so you know what I mean by that, okay? Okay. So let's just say my topic was spirituality, okay? Because that's a life category. And that ain't even how you spell it, but don't judge me, okay? I don't need your judgment. Okay, so then everything that goes under here is anything connected to spirituality. They're basically categories of spirituality. The same way that you would do for if this was wealth or income, is basically finances. Okay, so if I was doing spirituality, one topic might be the different types of religions, right? That's what R stands for. Another might be specific books, right? Spiritual books. Another category might be having a personal relationship with God. Another category might be spirituality with kids. Another category might be spirituality with couples, right? Another category might be, okay, so you got where I'm going with that. That's what, okay, good. Judy, regarding the training, will this be an online or in-person training or both? Girl, you talking about me doing this again for a second time? Is that what you're asking me, Judy?
No, I'm talking about when you release it to the marketplace. What was your idea for this training? Was it going to be online like this, or were you going to do in person like a workshop? I forgot to ask you that earlier.
Oh, okay. So I don't know the answer to that because I don't know which. I am a very strategic framework kind of person. So it depends on when I would be teaching this, right? So if I'm using this as a lead magnet, for example, then it's all virtual, right? Or maybe it's a one-day workshop, right? It would be on the front end of something to lead somebody into a bigger program. So it could be done as either. Right now, I'm not doing nothing live because me and live events got a beef going. So we not really cool right now. At some point, you know what I'm saying, that might happen. But for right now, everything will be virtual until I figure out my own framework, which is a whole nother conversation. Because here's the thing, and this is the last thing I will say to y'all, and then I'm getting off here because I need to drink some tea or something. In order for us to get our clients consistent results, right, we need to have a framework in which we operate from. So, for example, I'm going to use the text box instead of this. Once you do all of this work, the thing that will come from this is I will be clear about my results, okay? So let's just say me personally, the result that I do is I help coaches and consultants generate consistent leads online, okay? Let's just say that was the thing that I do, okay? And the goal here is to be able to come up with what's my system or my process or my framework for helping people do that very thing, right? So, you know, just for the sake of time, I'm only going to come up with 3. But let's just say I had a 3-step system. First was niching, exactly what we did right now. The second was messaging. So, and then the last was, what would be the last one? Some kind, let's just say it was program creation, which doesn't necessarily fit with, that can't be the last one because that doesn't fit with my end result. My end result is lead generation, right? So this 3rd step would be helping them actually script out a lead generating program, system, product, whatever, okay? So let's just say that that was my particular system to helping people get this end result right here that I'm promising them. Well, then this right here is more than likely going to be my lead magnet. The step one of my framework is more than likely going to be the thing that I have people opt in for, right? Because that if I can help people do this, guess what? The response is like, oh, that was cold. What else could you help me do? Right? That's the same thing you want your people to feel. You help them with one thing. This is a quick win, right? Remember, your lead magnet, whether it's a PDF or a challenge, has to give people a quick win. If it doesn't do that, they don't walk away saying an emphatic yes, right? That's what you want. You want people to walk away with an, oh my God, yes. In order for them to do that, it has to be a quick win. I need to go tend to my baby, but whenever you do part 2, I'm there and I'll leave a review. Okay, that's it. That's the whole thing. I'm done. I just wanted you to understand. I don't know whether it'll be live or virtual because I have to build out my framework before I can decide, because that's how I work. My mind has to do it that way first. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, drop a review on the business page. For those of you who are in the mastermind, and you want to do it again, you can, put it in there and tell me exactly what you want. I think I got it. I'm gonna go back and, listen to the, watch the chat. I think the thing that I heard was copy. And it'll probably be another Thursday is what I'm thinking, right? Maybe next Thursday. I don't know, but it'll probably be a Thursday. So thank you guys for jumping on. I appreciate it. I hope it was worth your 3 hours of time or whatever it is that we've been on here. I'm going to go lay down, do something with my life. Are you providing the link for the recording? Oh yeah, it'll take a while for it to buffer or whatever you call it. But yeah, when it gets done, I'll shoot you guys the link for the recording too. Thanks, Teresa. Good night, guys.